Optimove, the leader in positionless marketing, frees marketing teams from the limitations of fixed roles, boosting campaign efficiency by 88%. Its positionless marketing platform delivers 3 transformative powers: data power for real-time customer insights, creative power for instant asset creation, and optimization power for self-optimizing campaigns. With Optimove, you can do anything and be everything. Go to optimove.com/total retail to get your first month free when buying Optimove's positionless marketing platform.
Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of Total Retail Talks. I'm Joe Keenan, the editor-in-chief of Total Retail. I'm pleased to be joined on today's episode by Matt Kelly, who is the founder of Detailing World. We're going to talk to Matt about his business, the growth of Detailing World, how physical retail fits into its business model, a little bit about its customers, and how it's differentiating itself in a competitive marketplace. So a lot to learn about Detailing World, and I'm excited for you to hear from Matt Kelly. So thanks for joining me today, Matt.
Hey, Joe, how you doing today? Thanks for having me.
Great. Really looking forward to this. So to get us started, why don't you go ahead and tell our audience about Detailing World, for those that are not yet familiar with the company?
Sure. So it all kind of began, I started off in the automotive finishing industry, we'll call it. And at that point, I realized that there wasn't many places, boots on the ground in our community or any community for that matter, that really catered to supplying the chemicals, the tools, all the necessary things, equipments that you would need to do the service. And so I found myself, I was a trainer for quite a while, bringing people into the industry. And I realized that I was leaving a lot of money on the table and sending them to go shop with other people, traditionally on e-commerce. And I learned really quick that I missed out on that money, but I also learned that most of our audience in that sector is not super prepared. God bless them, we love them to death, but they're not really the type of people that plan with having additional back stock. And so we found that they were doing a lot of overnight purchases and just trying to rush deliver these products that they use for their service business. And so I immediately said, you know what, the light bulb went off. It's time to open up our very first retail store that caters specifically to automotive detailers, dealerships, etc. Any places that need to make the car shiny, purchase, or just for appearance.
What was the time frame here? When did this kind of all get started for you, Matt? And I will follow up. It's interesting. So physical store was your first kind of entry into the market. You didn't launch an e-com site first.
So prior to that, I did work exclusively for a ceramic coating company, which, if the listeners don't know what that is, it's basically a liquid applied glass shell that goes on the car's finish. And it basically locks out dirt from sticking. And I worked for the very, very top company in the world that we brought here to the US and made quite famous. And so we did sell e-commerce at that point in time. But again, I learned real quick that guys were doing overnights and just spending so much money on shipping costs. A lot of the time, they'd have to reschedule some of the appointments because they didn't have the materials.
Yeah. What was the time? What year was this
Oh, sorry. Yeah. 2018 was the birth of Detailing World. That was our very first store. At that point, we didn't even really have a warehouse or anything. It was just, in my mind, to do one location for our direct community and call it a day.
So it's obviously expanded since then, and we're going to talk about that. With that in mind, that growth, what are some of the factors that you believe have contributed to taking Detailing World from this single retail location to a much broader expanse?
So there's definitely a lot of different variables to that question. To answer your question, the first one would be a booming industry, right? The automotive detailing industry has doubled, tripled, and quadrupled since I first started with Detailing World. It's now well over $1 billion industry. I mean, of course, everyone knows who McGuire's is and some of these other companies, chemical guys maybe. But at the end of the day, there has been an injection of other independent brands that have just emerged. And so at that point, it definitely has increased our traffic that comes to the store. On top of that, the next thing that grows our business is finding other people that are smart enough to understand that this market is just not being catered to. And so I find like-minded individuals, business owners, entrepreneurs that, see the value in supplying chemicals to their local community. And so those two factors are the main ones. Aside from that, of course, we bring in constantly new brands that do their own marketing, so that attracts customers to our retail location through their hard work. But yeah, there's a lot of factors, and there's a lot of car guys out there, so I think that's the main reason.
Yeah, and this emerging and growing market you said in terms of the auto detailing world is kind of a catalyst for what you're doing at Detailing World. Just one quick follow-up there. Is a lot of that work, that detailing work being done by the individual consumer? So they're doing it in their own garages, their own driveways. Are they doing it taking their cars to auto shops, dealerships? Maybe it's the independent car wash that has a detailing center. It's kind of a fragmented market, I would imagine, right?
It is, and that's what I love about it because if you own a car, you're a customer, right?
Yeah.
We just need to train you that A, it's not scary to do your own stuff, right? If you're that type of person. But at the end of the day, yes, we do have a professional market that shops with us, and then of course the do-it-yourself market
Yeah.
shops with us. At this point in time, probably about honestly about 55-45. Like before COVID, it was mostly professional, but once COVID hit and people couldn't go out and schedule appointments, we found that they learned how to do detailing themselves, and then they were doing it in their own garage, just simply going on YouTube and getting up, picking up some tutorials and picking up some tips and tricks. And so that has completely skewed our customer base. And I love it because, in all honesty, there's way more do-it-yourselfers than there is professional.
Yeah. Your pool of targets just exponentially grows.
Oh, yes, absolutely. And now we're at the position we do offer trainings and other things of that nature to continue to grow that sector of do-it-yourself.
So going back to the first early days, you talked about that first physical store location. How do physical retail stores fit into the business model now? What do you think about growing your footprint in terms of stores?
Well, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Every city needs this store. There's no options out there. You're either shopping online or you're going to Walmart or Advanced Auto or one of those auto parts stores that has a tiny little section of products that professionals don't even use because the product is heavily inflated on the MSRP. And in all honesty, a lot of the times they're dumbed down. So that way they're not the same high grade of performance as some of these professional grade products. So it's kind of a disservice to the community to not have a detailing world, providing them the best products at the best possible price.
And to your point, these stores can go anywhere because if you have a car, you're a potential customer or user, right? This is
Yeah.
not geographic specific.
No, we found that these stores do the best in strip malls, shopping plazas, because the synergy from the other businesses really help, propel. Of course, we do our own marketing. We do car shows in the parking lots of these strip malls and other events to attract the professional, but nothing like, having someone just walking by, popping their head in, and then learning, something they never knew before.
So I'm going to ask a similar question for kind of the digital side of the business, e-commerce. How do you think about growing the e-commerce business? It sounds like there's an education play here, right? To get that DIYer into the fold, kind of teaching them about some of the chemical solutions and the processes. So kind of that mix between content and selling on the website.
Yeah, so the website, of course, is going to be primarily selling. We do have the ability to do the sign-ups, but at this point in time, you have to protect the physical location for training. Now, with my other company, Hydro Silex, we have a program that's going to be online. It's going to be kind of a detailing university that will teach you how to use, starting with our ceramic coatings, so that you're now recognized through our company to be able to warranty our product on your own car. And that's kind of a first thing ever situation. Normally, you would have to go to a pro in order to have that feature of, having the warranty on the Carfax. And it's not just a warranty, it's a reinsurance, right? So it's attached to the VIN number, it goes to the new owner if they sell the vehicle, and it actually pays out. It does pay out clean.
How about social media? As you're talking, Matt, I'm thinking about opportunities. You mentioned like people watching their own YouTube, like a YouTube video to kind of prep them on how to handle detailing and using the solutions that you're providing. They're out in the market as well. How do you think about like engaging potential customers through social?
Yeah, so we're heavy on social media. We have a in-house social team that's filming every single day, it seems. And we have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, or X now. We're on all of them. And yes, we do a lot of shorthand type of videos, just quick tips and tricks, because I found that a lot of people are more like goldfish these days with their attention span. And so we do have long form video as well on our YouTube channel for those people that are a little bit more involved in the industry that need more detail. But yeah, we're everywhere when it comes to the social media.
Yeah, because it's such a visual medium that yeah, and people are invested. There's a lot of car people out there, right? So they're looking at different avenues for ways they can consume content about their vehicles.
Plus, we've learned as well that, with inflation and the cost of food and gas, everything going up, people have a little less money to spend on the professional these days.
Yeah.
But yet they still want a clean car, right? And even those people that don't necessarily care about the outside, they are worried about the inside. I mean, they're sitting in their own dirt. So it has completely changed face of the marketplace with everything that's kind of happened in the world around us.
So that's actually probably a good segue into my next question in terms of the market itself. Detailing world is not alone. You're competing against a lot of brands, potentially some more well-resourced brands, and then retailers. You talk about, people can go get some of these products at Walmart. They can walk into an Advance Auto Parts or an AutoZone and get some of these products. How do you think about your strategy for competing against these sort of more well-resourced brands and retailers?
I would just say that we have a better mousetrap. You can go into a Walmart and have no clue what to do. And you're just looking at a shelf full of products with no technical advice. And so you may make an incorrect purchase and get something that maybe doesn't work great. And now you wasted your money. Whereas with coming into one of our stores, everyone there has been trained to be able to walk you through the steps of the process. If you have a stain on your seat, our team will be able to walk you through how to remove that stain and what products to use. And if you want further details, well, then we'll probably recommend the full training class. But
Mhm.
at bare minimum, you have the ability to talk to someone that has done it or knows how to do it. And for the people that are listening that think about maybe opening their own detailing world with us, don't be afraid if you don't have the technical expertise in detailing. There's probably about 60% of our store owners have never detailed a car, but when you ask them a question, it sounds like they have. They have been completely trained by our team. So, but that's one of the things. The other thing is definitely that we have way better brands. You have like no selection at these other places.
Mhm.
They're the big box store brands, right? The McGuire's, the Chemical Guys. I mentioned them before. At the end of the day, it doesn't mean that they're good, right? Half of the time, they realize that the retail audience, they can charge them a little more, right? Because professionals, they make money off of this stuff and they don't want to pay top dollar. They want to save money on their material cost. And so you're always going to pay at least 30% more MSRP purchasing your products at any of those big box stores. So that's another thing. Selection is great. And all over, we just have a community vibe. We're doing events, networking events, car shows. I mean, our customers are like family. They love coming there. It's like a candy store for car guys and girls. And, they love just coming to see what we have that's new. We're on the leading edge of the industry.
Yeah, that expertise, you're differentiated through your product mix, and then you really establish this community of car lovers, and they look to you and they're loyal to you. I'm going to follow up on that product mix because I think it's an important distinction. Tell us a little bit about, as you think about sourcing products, how you're doing that at Detailing World to ensure that you have that advantage, right? That you're offering a differentiated product mix for your customers who are coming specifically to Detailing World, maybe in a lot of cases, because they know that they can get different brands and not just what the big box retailers are offering.
Absolutely. Well, I think it starts with my background first and foremost. I've been in this industry now for 27 years. And so I have very close connections with not only the manufacturers, but also just have my ear to the ground. I'm connected to all the groups, the forums that are, launching new products and stuff like that. Plus, now we have a big enough name that these people contact us, right? They're like, hey, we're entering the market. We have this really cool idea or tool or chemical that's never been seen before. And we'd like to offer it to you because, we have 15 stores and we cover a lot of market share. So that's usually kind of how I hear about most of this stuff. The other thing is there's the world's largest automotive trade show called SEMA. It's in Las Vegas. And I've attended that now 11 years. And so that is the place where people are showcasing everything new. And I would say that we were definitely in a golden age of creation. The innovation in the past 5 years is insane in our marketplace, and not just our marketplace, the whole world. But in our marketplace, we found that people are really investing money in R&D to speed up the process by giving the same results as well, and potentially saving some money to the consumer. So it's really exciting right now to kind of be in this industry. I'll be honest.
Yeah, it does. It sounds like there's a real opportunity. You talked about that kind of total addressable market keeps growing. With that in mind, there's thinking about the future. You're still a relatively new organization. This is something that you've started, but it's what, less than 10 years old at this point. So tell me about what you have planned for the future. How can you continue this positive momentum for Detailing World?
So the cool thing about we'll talk about the brick and mortar store because I own a couple of those, as well as I own the entire distribution as well. And so they're kind of two businesses, even though they're connected. But the brick and mortar, right now, our future is looking very bright. Being a 5, 6 year old company, from last year to this year, we're up 25%. And that's a pretty heavy mover for that old of a company. You feel like you've probably serviced almost everyone in your community, but we just keep finding more people. And I think that the do-it-yourself market has a lot to do with. Not to mention, if people do want to get into business for themselves doing detailing,
Yeah.
it is probably one of the easiest services to get into. It's low cost of entry. You don't have someone barking down your back to if you want to work for yourself, of course. But there's a huge marketplace of people that want that service. So that's one of the things. The store is absolutely picking up with walk-ins. We also have a delivery truck that we launched, which allows us to cater to people outside of driving distance of the store itself, as well as dealerships that typically, can't send someone on the
Mhm.
clock to go shop at Detailing World. They want you to come to them. And so the delivery truck absolutely is doing almost per day in sales the same as brick and mortar, which is kind of exciting. And then on top of that, of course, we have the e-commerce, which is never ending. I mean, as much as you want to spend to get in front of people is as much as you can sell. So we've really ramped up our promotions, our campaigns, and stuff like that online as well. And that, in all, it just has absolutely put us in a projection that I never expected in year 5, 6, all the way up to year 10. I see growth just never ending. Um,
Yeah.
Now, on the higher level of the distributor model, actually Detailing World headquarters, which redistributes the products to the stores, which I mentioned, we have 15 locations right now. We have 3 more that are looking for properties. They've already signed the pre-contract with us, so they're locked in. And we have a full sales team that's going to go out and knock down doors and find other people that find the value in opening up their own location. And so with that, I mean, the sky's the limit. These, like I said, they belong in every major city. And I don't think, it's going to take at least 10 years to unturn all those rocks. So there's a lot of growth, a lot of gas left in the tank here, and we're very excited. We're scaling rapidly. Our warehouse has doubled in size. We're looking at more distribution points in other states, kind of Central America, Texas, even getting one out in California because we do have a California store now as well. So that's the way I kind of see it. And like I said, we're just excited for the ride.
Yeah, plenty of growth opportunity that, as you're talking, I'm thinking, that's the opportunity at hand. And your challenge, and it's a good problem to have, is scaling to meet that demand. The demand is there, it sounds like. You guys and you and your team just trying to meet that demand is going to be what you're working on. And it sounds like you're thinking about that in multiple different prongs. So you have obviously your physical brick and mortar stores, digital businesses, that delivery component that you're talking about. So many different ways that you're trying to service the customer.
Yeah, our initial store, the Manheim, Pennsylvania store, which if you look at it on a map, there's not much out there. But that being said, that store is crossing 1.2 million this year. Hands down, we'll get there no problem. Our projections are even above that. I'm just being conservative. So, if our little city can pump that out and still have a lot of growth left, cities like Charlotte, where we have locations, and Palm Beach and Texas, San Antonio, we have a lot of really big cities on board. Those guys are going to surpass us. We're the oldest, so of course our sales are a little better at this point in time. But yeah, we're seeing some massive growth in all the stores.
Well, I wish you well. It sounds like you've guys got a great plan and a real opportunity here to continue to grow detailing from something you've built from the ground up. So congratulations to you on that, Matt.
Thanks, Sean. Appreciate that.
Well, I want to take the opportunity to thank Matt Kelly, again, the founder of Detailing World, for joining us on this episode of Total Retail Talks. Thanks, Matt. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Yeah, and hey, just to throw a quick plug out there, if anyone listening is interested in either, of course, shopping at one of our stores or also potentially owning their own store, you can find us at detailtheworld.com. And we do have an inquiry section on there. Plus, there's a store locator, so you can kind of see if you have a store in your market.
Yeah, thank you for that, Matt. And I advise the audience to take you up on that if they have interest. It's a great opportunity for you to get involved. So thank you for the time. And till next time, we've enjoyed this conversation on Total Retail Talks.
Thanks, Joe.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, please check out our podcast channel page at mytotalretail.com/podcasts for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, and Spotify. Make sure to subscribe on our podcast channel page as well. If you've enjoyed this episode, please take a few moments to rate and review this podcast. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.
Optimove, the leader in positionless marketing, empowers marketers to instantly deliver real-time personalization. Boosting campaign efficiency by 88%, it allows marketers to do anything and be everything. Go to optimove.com/total retail to get your first month free when buying Optimove's positionless marketing platform.